Good morning. For today's devotion, we are continuing Exodus 27, but the latter half, in which case they are now making a courtyard for the tabernacle. And as we've seen time and time before, some of these materials that they're using, the type of wood they're using, the type of symmetry they're using, again, curtains come up, and again, they are to be blue and scarlet. And so we see that the outside of the tabernacle now, in many ways, matches the inside. Why even though have a courtyard for this tabernacle? Why go to such great lengths to build an even larger boundary to something you've already made a boundary for? And this is where we begin to see a foreshadowing of the priesthood, of the mediation, of the holy ground between the holiness of God and man. This bridge. Of course, it makes sense to have an area where you would have to intentionally enter before you could accidentally stumble upon the glory and danger of the holiness of God's presence. But more than that, there is a place for man to come close, for man to leave the normal camp and enter into this sacred space, this space dedicated to this ritual rite of meeting with God, asking for forgiveness, making petition. We don't like to think of this courtyard aspect of a relationship with God because of who Jesus is, because of what he has accomplished, because of how much as Christians we have to teach this gospel message that shatters this idea that we are far from God, that shatters this idea that we need to enter in a certain area and then we need to stop, that there needs to be someone in the way. And so it's hard for us to appreciate and understand this courtyard placed around the tabernacle. But it does stand as a reminder of what Jesus came to do, of what Jesus came to be. That there was a gap, that there was a place we could not enter into. And yes, we still had a loving, gracious God who prepared a space for us to get even close. But an intimate God, a loving covenant God, went even further. The final note at the end of Exodus 27 is that the Israelites are to bring clear oil of pressed olives for light so that the lamps may be kept burning. And here we begin to see the priesthood develop. But the last line in the NIV anyway reads, "This is to be a lasting ordinance among the Israelites for generations to come." And again we see this constant light, this dedication to illumination. And he does warn them that this is not going to be for a day or a week or a year. Be prepared that I want this light burning until I say stop. Be prepared. Don't run out. Don't be caught off guard. So, Lord, I pray that we would recognize the intimacy offered by you to us. We thank you for Jesus' sacrifice, so that we no longer need to stand at a great distance. And Lord, we do pray for forgiveness. Lord, we pray that your Spirit would sanctify us. Lord, that we would know more what it means to be your children and your family. And Lord, may we be reminded to be a light, that we do need to shine, that people do need to see. And Lord, would you pour out your Spirit on us as we begin to understand in our souls that this will be a task for generations to come.